And welcome into Jerome Aginla Arena. Welcome into Jerome Aginla Arena in St. Albert, where the Beaumont Outlaws will pay a visit to the St. Albert Crude. The Outlaws coming in at 2-2, and the Crude rolling in at 3-3. A couple of teams battling for second in the North Division as they both try and track down the Rebels. It's two teams that know each other well here in the North, the Outlaws and the Crude. The Outlaws will wear their road whites, move from left to right on your screen, while the hometown Crude will wear their home grays and move right to left. Officials for tonight's game: Kevin Kohut, Sean Reed, and Nathaniel Gillespie. Starting goaltenders for tonight's game: in the Outlaws crease, it will be number 1, Easton Couturier. And down in the home side's net, it will be number 35, William Horn. As off the draw, the ball bounces loose, and it's going to be picked up by Hildebrand. Here's Grace off the half wall. Grace is going to look into the middle, and he's going to come up high with it. Grace looks, and now he gets the ball to Hildebrand. They're going to say Crude ball here as the ball is floated to Nick Capillo. Here's Graham Dickin playing his first home game for the Crude. Does have one game under his belt playing against the Shamrocks on the road. Dickin threw that away, and now the ball is bounced into the crease of Couturier. Couturier outlet pass to Sutherland, who waits for help. And here is Brooks for the Outlaws on the left side, now up to Hildebrand. Ball swung over to Rossman. Felix Rossman takes a long outside shot. That's stopped by Horn, and Rossman's hit a bit late there. Ball goes loose, and it's picked up by the Crude, and there goes Reich. Should mention tonight's game, the Crude, after the resignation of head coach Garen Schmerman and his brother Bryce, Terry Doken behind the bench as the head coach, joined by Callan Harris. The ball is swung into the near corner, but it was missed, and now the ball is going to be battled for. And it's picked up by Elliott. Elliott, off of a big offensive performance against the Warriors in back-to-back games, gets it to Dickin. Dickin swim move. Dickin rolls around a check. Graham Dickin, and he bounced one in on Couturier. And now the rebound came right back out to Stenson, who hit the post, and now Fodchuk rips it and scores short side high to make it 1-0. So the Crude get the early marker, and they take the early lead. That goal brought to you by Dylan Doken Contracting Limited, DDC, a general contracting company. Our attention to detail and giving the customer what they ask for is our company's main objective. Call Dylan Doken Contracting Limited for your general contracting needs. As the ball is picked up by the Crude again off the face-off. Elliott down the wall. Elliott up high to Bowie. Bowie swings it to Fodchuk. Fodchuk drag move. Fodchuk, and he sends that into the stick of Couturier. Now Couturier looks to outlet. Couturier up floor through a dangerous pass. Bounces down to Horn, and he'll collect this off the end boards. Here's McConnell. Up to Elliott. Elliott inside, Dickin, and he tried to float it up high on Couturier. The Crude get a reset. Here's Wells to Elliott. Elliott back over to Fodchuk, who looks into the middle, now swings it over to Elliott. Elliott winds and fires a low shot into Couturier. Good stop by the goaltender, and the ball will roll back out near the Outlaws bench, and instead of picking it up, the Outlaws bat it down the floor. And then out in front, they get a fortunate bounce after Horn misplays it. And so what was a very questionable batting of the ball, because the Crude were going to get a reset there. The Outlaws end up scoring. 1-1. Looked like Jesse Porter with that marker. And we're all even. Now into the penalty box area. There's a bit of a tackle. Nothing called there, and the Crude will come back this way. And possession of McConnell. McConnell to Elliott. Elliott is gonna look. Get the ball swung over to Lemieux. Lemieux down low. Now into the middle, Bowie, and he gets stopped by Couturier, who stood with that opportunity. That ball goes over the head of Hildebrand, and it's going to be into the stick of Dzwanka. Dzwanka to Elliott, and he'll wait up for a change. Here's Liam Elliott. Elliott looks, gets it up high to Dickin. Dickin to Wells. Back over to Stenson. Stenson swings it over to Elliott quickly. Now with Dickin up high. Dickin looks, Dickin's gonna shoot. Stopped by Couturier. Now the loose ball right back out to the Crude. Looking for Wells back door, didn't connect. And here go the Outlaws. Now off the bench is Hildebrand. Hildebrand fakes and scores as he tucks it short side on Horn. And it's 2-1. Quick cut off the bench, and we saw the Warriors take advantage of that a couple of times last game against the Crude. And the Outlaws have their first lead of the night. As the ball is picked up by the Outlaws, this time off the draw. Here's Jesse Porter. Porter gets a hard pick there from Grace, and then Porter floats one in on Horn, and then the ball kind of rolled around at his feet. It stays out, and here goes Schultz. Schultz has got a lane to the net. Schultz in, and he just misses up over top. And Porter is going to escape and get the ball to Rossman. Rossman heavily pressed by the Crude. Now the ball turns over, and Reich will gain possession. I want to thank our first period sponsor, Alberta Sportswear. Alberta Sportswear is the official supplier of the Crude Lacrosse Club. They're a leader in quality embroidering, custom logo. Actually, sorry, my bad. It's actually, we'll get to that in a second, as Bowie steps back down and gets the ball swung. Elliott had that pass picked off, and now here go the Outlaws as Cody Porter comes back out. Yeah, my apologies. The first period sponsor is Key to Safety. As Grace is going to shoot this as a delayed penalties call is coming up to the Crude. And the Outlaws will go to the power play. It'll be legal substitution. It'll be served by Tyson Smith. Now, not Tyson Smith now as he goes back. They're going to go Huckabee. Yeah, I believe the in-home has to serve the penalty in. That is usually Liam Huckabee. And so the Outlaws power play will go to work with Grace on the top, Porter and Hildebrand on the shooters, Rossman. And it looks like the other Porter, Cody, down on the crease. Now the ball is going to go loose and it's batted around, and Drader's going to hustle this down. Drader had it knocked away by Grace at the last second. And the ball is picked up by Rossman. Hildebrand to Grace. Grace going to shoot that from way out. Porter rebound, stopped by Horn, and now down in behind the play is Bennett Frey. Frey is in. Frey scores. Oh, they're waving it off. They're calling crease. And it'll be Outlaws ball. No goal. As they say, Bennett Frey across the plane of the crease. Grace. Just threw it into an unsuspecting Porter. He's able to evade the check of Bilichuk. Now ball up back to Porter. Grace. Grace winds and fires into the midsection of Horn, and then Grace is run over by Dzwanka, who's then yard sailed by Porter. Here's Jesse Porter in transition. Porter, shot was soaked by a Crude defender. Now back into the stick of Porter, who swung it over to Dugan, and a low shot on Horn goes home. It's 3-1. Tobin Dugan, who spent last year with Prince Albert, is going to get on the board here, and the Outlaws lead 3-1. Now off the draw, Frey goes down. Delayed call, and it's going to go to the Outlaws this time. It'll be Ellis to the box. So Ellis to the box, and the Crude power play will get its first opportunity. Sorry. As the ball works around, the ball up high to Elliott. Dickin tried to rip it short side, and that riser goes up into the glass, bounces all the way back down into the Crude end, and that'll be back over, and it'll be Outlaws' ball. So with 1:39 to go, the Outlaws will look to kill, 1:39 on the penalty, the Outlaws will look to kill some time.
Cross-checking.
That penalty was for cross-checking to Ellis. As the ball rolls down with Brooks, who feeds it in to Porter. He got knocked down. The ball's going to go loose, and it's going to be picked up by the Crude. And here's McConnell in transition. He's going to pull it out. The Outlaws get back. I think Central Social Hall can be a place for drinks with the girls, lunch with the client, brunch with your family. Born and raised in Edmonton, we're committed to providing you with an outstanding restaurant and bar experience. As Dickin tried to work his way in and lost the ball. And here we go, the Outlaws in transition as Dickin lost his shoe. Gaudreau tried to flip that over, and that wasn't even close as he tried to hit Porter. Now the ball gets sent back over to Porter. Jesse Porter rolls down underneath and sends a bad angle shot in on Horn. And Elliott will jog out over center. Here's Elliott. Hands it off. Fakes the handoff to Wells. Still has it. Elliott, Fodchuk as they go in behind the net now to Wells. Up top. And that pass was down at the knees of Elliott. He couldn't quick stick it. Now the outside shot gets ripped into the stick, or into the through the body of a Outlaw defender and into the stick of Couturier. Sutherland up to Booth. As the penalty expires, the teams will go back to even strength. 10:30 to go first period. Outlaws 3, Crude 1. I want to thank you for joining us here on the channel, CROW LAX TV. All you got to do is hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. And please do hit the thumbs up. It'll help the game get out to as many people as possible. Jump shot taken by Grace is stopped by Horn. And now the ball bounces out over center, and Frey will try to run it down. Frey goes into the corner where Brooks and Ellis await. Now Frey picks it up, and he gets it up to Nicopillo. He hands it to Lemieux. Lemieux gets it to the half wall where Elliott awaits. Elliott, two-man with Frey. Frey rolls off on a little bit of a slip pick, but the ball goes up to Stenson. Stenson to Fodchuk. Fodchuk tried to rip it across the defense, got knocked down, and here goes Nolan Beese. Beese has it lane to the net. Beese steps, and he hesitated, and he's going to pull out. Beese trying to hand off, and that's a dangerous flip, and that's going to turn over as Reich picks the ball up. 9:25 to go here, first period. Crude losing 3-1. Here's Fodchuk. Wells into the middle. Fodchuk shot stopped by Couturier. Another loose ball for the Crude. They've got a handful of these second and third opportunities on possessions on loose balls, but the ball now rolls into Couturier, who looks up floor. And now he hits an Outlaw who comes racing over center. They had numbers there for a second, but they'll pull out. Porter into the middle. And then off on a behind the back. What a beautiful goal there by the Outlaws. Doing a good job crashing off the bench. It's 4-1. And my sheet does not, I do not know who that is actually right now. We'll get you who that is in a second. But the Outlaws do go up by a score of 4-1, and that's a couple of times now that they've come hard in transition off the bench and capitalized. Now the ball goes back into the Crude zone, and it's going to be picked up by Stenson. Stenson got it to Schultz, who gets it to Nicapillo, and he's going to wait for someone off the bench, and that's Elliott. 4-1. Outlaws lead, 8:30 to go here, first period. Ball is thrown errantly towards Stenson, and now it's picked up, and the Outlaws have an opportunity for a breakaway. Booth wasn't able to bring that in. Yeah, nobody seems to have that last goal scorer, so we'll try to find that out a little later on. But that ball is picked off by the Crude, and now long lead pass for Ferretti. Ferretti gets stopped by Couturier as Beese picks up the loose ball and throws it up to Gaudreau. Gaudreau gets knocked down, and the ball goes into the far corner, where it's picked up by the Outlaws again. Ball up high. And Porter goes down to Hildebrand. Hildebrand takes a shot that gets knocked down by a body. Now Porter to the net. Porter! And that looks like it hits some bar as it bounces all the way back down to Couturier. And they get the reset. Hildebrand has another delayed call coming up to the Crude. Outlaws will go 6-on-5. Grace to Porter. Grace. Back to Porter. They play catch. Hildebrand. Grace. As the Outlaws take their sixth man and leave him back at center. Not sure why. Now he comes up a little bit more. Grace. Hildebrand. They didn't reset the shot clock, but they signal they needed one, or they need one. That shot goes off a stick, and now they'll blow it down, and the Crude will return to the penalty box. I want to thank Alberta Sportswear. Alberta Sportswear is the official apparel supplier of the Crude Lacrosse Club, the leader in quality embroidery and custom logo clothing, sublimated jerseys, and more. Everything from design to production is all done in-house. So the Crude go to the penalty box. It'll be Ferretti as I await the official designation here. It'll be a slash. So Ferretti goes to the box for a slash, and the Outlaws go back to the power play. Here's Grace. Hildebrand. Grace. Outlaws start to move a little bit here as Porter slips into the middle. Ball goes loose, and they're going to battle for this as Grace picks it back up. That shot goes wide by Porter. Hildebrand goes and collects the loose ball. Hildebrand feeds it over, and that quick stick hits some bar by Porter. Ball goes loose. A couple of Outlaws are over there, and they're going to win the loose ball. But then Porter tries to flip it by Nicapillo. It got knocked down, and the Outlaws power play will reset here. Rossman. Hildebrand. Behind the back over to Porter. Now up to his brother. That gets stopped. And Jesse recollects that. Hildebrand up high to Grace. Grace winds and fires. Long outside shot into the legs of Horn. And now Deswanka through traffic gets the ball over the timeline. 5 minutes to go, first period. Outlaws 4, Crude 1. Here from Jerome McGinley Arena. Again, hit that thumbs up. And let's get this channel pumping out and as many eyes as we can on these games. As Frey comes around a check, and he gets it to Deswanka. As they count down the reset, there shouldn't have been one. And the ball just gets rolled in on Couturier, and he'll outlet. Here's Grace. Grace to Hildebrand. Hildebrand. Grace now down low. The ball back up to Grace. Grace winds and fires. And that was another low shot stopped by Horn. And here goes Ferretti as the Outlaws change here. Here's a late check that comes in, but Ferretti bounces it by Couturier. It's 4-2. A little bit of a questionable change there by the Outlaws. Leads to the Ferretti breakaway. And they cut the Outlaw lead down to 2. That goal brought to you by Dylan Doken Contracting Limited. Call Dylan Doken Contracting Limited for your general contracting needs. And the Crude Tier 1 Lacrosse Club would like to thank their 2025 sponsors, Dylan Doken Contracting Limited, Extreme Threads, Key to Safety, Central Social Hall, Wedman Land and Cattle Co., Zender Ford, Impact Homes, Alberta Sportswear, Frank Sandblasting and Painting, United Sport and Cycle, Iron Worker Local 270. So the ball gets mishandled by the Outlaws, and it's going to be picked up by Drader. Drader to the net, and he gets stopped by Couturier. Now loose ball. A couple of Outlaws go down, and it'll be Outlaws possession. Sorry? Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, my bad. Yeah, brother offside.
So we're just a little late to get to our media timeout here. Usually we'll come around the 9-10 minute mark, and they allow the goalies to get water. As we sit here with the Outlaws leading the Crude 4-2. Again, the Outlaws coming in at 2-2, the Crude at 3-3. Both trying to track down the Rebels, who are at 3-0 in the north. Here's Grace, one-on-one here with Reich. Grace, as that pass from Porter goes high off the stick of Dugan and out of play, it'll be Crude ball. 3.5 to go here, first period. Deswanka, up floor. Here's Dickin. Underneath Dickin. Tried to jam one in on Couturier. They call him for stepping inside the crease, and it'll be outlaw ball as Booth gets chased from Dickin. And they're going to get the Outlaws for 8 seconds. It'll be Crude ball. And McConnell will hand off. It's time to Bowie. Bowie to Dickin. Dickin is going to fake a shot and then take it. That gets pulled wide. It's going to be outlaw ball on the over and back. Here's Rossman. Hildebrand. Hildebrand looks, gets it up high to Porter. Porter goes one-on-one. Porter to the net and right in the midsection of Horn. Now back up floor goes Schultz. 2.5 to go first period. Crude trailing by a pair. Here's Elliott. Ball now over on the left side, Lemieux. That shot comes in, stopped by Couturier. And now he'll bounce it up floor where Sutherland takes it. Sutherland goes deep into the Crude zone, and then he gets it to Brooks. Brooks to Grace. Grace over to the right side. Shot in from Dugan, and Horn fights it off. Now Horn, nice pass up to center floor where Fodchuk awaits. Fodchuk controls it, moves it to Bowie, to Elliott, to Wells. Wells comes around a pick and fires it short side, 4-3. Nice pull shot by Wells, who had a little bit of space about halfway up the bar, and he nails it, and it's a 1-goal Outlaw lead. Frey back into the offensive zone to Schultz. Schultz to Liam Elliott, who jogs into the zone. Ball is swung into the stick of Fodchuk. Lost it, goes and picks it back up. Josh Fodchuk. It's gonna go to the net, had a rough angle there, and that's gonna be picked up by the Outlaws as that missed the net. Ellis gallops over center. He gets tangled up with Elliott. Here is Porter. Jesse Porter swings it. Now in the stick of Hildebrand. Hildebrand takes a bad angle shot. Goes off of a stick. Outlaws still needing a reset here. Hildebrand. Hildebrand again shot soaked. This time by Bilichuk. Bilichuk is going to run it out. Trygve Bilichuk hands it over to McConnell, and he will get it to Liam Elliott. 15 seconds to go, first period, last possession. Elliott gets the pick set from Bowie. Now the ball moved up to Wells. Wells flips it to Elliott. Elliott just sort of takes an off-balance bounce shot. That goes wide as Elliott, and it looks like Regan Walker push and shove. And nothing is going to come of that. And that'll be the end of the first period. With the score, the Beaumont Outlaws 4 and the St. Albert Crude 3. The Crude coming in at 3-3. The Outlaws at 2-2 as both try to track down the Rebels. So after one, it is the Outlaws 4, the Crude 3. We'll be right back with you in just under 10 minutes' time. They might get a delay a game. They might get delayed. If they're not out soon, they're coming out now. Yeah, it'd be 2-minute penalty. They came out. Welcome back inside Jerome McGinley Arena, where is the Outlaws with a 4-3 lead over the Crude as we begin the second period of play. Here's Ellis. Handles Schultz and gets it over to Grace. Grace, far wall. Grace over top of the pick, behind the back pass, and that's stopped by Horn as Porter was in all alone. Nice dish there by Carter Grace. Ball goes loose. Porter in behind the net, fights for it, and it's picked up by the Outlaws. And we should tell you that last Outlaw goal was scored by Carter Mitchell, the affiliate from the Titans coming up. And he has the ball right now. Mitchell, swim move. Mitchell, bounce shot through the legs of Horn. That's one he definitely is going to want to have back. Mitchell pumped up about that one, his second of the night. The Outlaws now take a 5-3 lead. So Mitchell having a big night already with 2. You could see what that goal meant to him. Oh, did it disappear on you? Yeah, I was wondering. I was going to ask Keenan about that. I thought it was just. As Regan Walker goes in and scores in transition on the broken play, and the Outlaws take a 6-3 lead. The Crude had sort of grabbed back some momentum late period with a couple of markers and then almost tied it. And now the Outlaws come out big in the second with a couple in a row. Now the ball is picked up off the draw by Frey. He does a good job of finding space. Frey around the net. And he hits it into the stick of Elliott. Liam Elliott is going to wind and fire off the bar. And the ball bounces back out to Dickin. Dickin swings it over to Lemieux. Pick's going to be set there for him. They switch off of it. Lemieux, twister, stopped by Couturier. And the ball will be picked up by the Outlaws. Here's Keller. Keller, very good in the middle of the floor, navigating traffic and getting the ball up quickly. And the ball into the stick of Grace now. Grace looks to the middle. Now he swings it over to Mitchell. Mitchell back up to Grace. As they cycle through the right side, Hildebrand is going to look. Hildebrand back over to the left side, and that shot's taken, and it's fought off by Horn. Now the loose ball goes into the stick of Grace. Grace is pushed in behind the net, and he moves it back up to Mitchell. Mitchell with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Hildebrand will control traffic up top. Grace is knocked down, and the penalty's coming up to the Crude. Something that they cannot afford right now. Grace shot off a body. That's Dzwanka who soaks that, and now the Crude will go back to the box. Smith, the guilty party. I would imagine it's going to be a cross check, slash. So it'll be a slash, and the Outlaw power play hits the floor once again. I want to thank Alberta Sportswear. Alberta Sportswear is the official apparel supplier of the Crude Lacrosse Club, leader in quality embroidering, custom logo, clothing, sublimated jerseys, and more. Everything from design to production is all done in-house. And our second period sponsor, United Cycle, Grace. Porter. Double dose of Porter on the left side. That was taken by Jesse Porter, that shot. Now Grace with a long outside shot into the feet of Horn. And now there's a heavy collision at center floor. Grace and Frey. Here's Drader with a fake. Drader to the net. And then somehow got the shot off, and Couturier stood his ground. So Grace will go to the box, and we'll play 4-on-4. Now 4-on-4, Dickin. Over to Fodchuk. Fodchuk had some room on the short side, stopped by Couturier. Now Stenson swung over to Dickin. Dickin, two-man game with Elliott. Dickin over top of his guy and shoots it low on Couturier. It's stopped, and Dickin comes up with a loose ball. Graham Dickin works his man over a little bit here. Graham Dickin gets tied up. Dickin into the middle, loses it. And now here go the Outlaws. Another breakaway. And that's stopped by Horn. And the Crude, Elliott, will pick it back up. That would have been a really tough one for the Crude to give up there off the turnover. It would have been the Outlaws' third of the period already. Here's Fodchuk, two-man game with Lemieux. Tried to flip it behind the back to him. Wasn't all that or too much within reach. As that ball gets sent over Lemieux's head now. And now Booth sends it up floor. Keller and Richardson try to track it down. Ball bounces into the stick of Horn. Horn up to Ferretti. And the Crude come back down the other way. Ball up high with Elliott. Elliott over to Fodchuk. And that ball gets picked up by Couturier, and the Outlaws come back the other way. Here's Gaudreau. Gaudreau up over the rag line, and he's going to hand off to Hildebrand. Hildebrand waits for some Outlaws to hit the floor. Hildebrand flips the ball to Mitchell. Mitchell takes a running shot well wide. Couldn't get much on that. And here go the Crude. Schultz in transition. Has Elliott off the bench, but he threw it behind him. And now Elliott goes and collects it. Those are the ones you need, especially when you're trailing in a game. As Stenson back over to Elliott. Elliott inside. Bowie really had no chance at that. And now the ball goes back the other way. Here are the Outlaws, and it's Porter. As the ball gets sent in on Horn, and he's going to stop that and send it up floor to Nicopillo. Lemieux. Here's Fodchuk up high. Fodchuk to Wells. Now back to Fodchuk. The ball in the near corner to Lemieux. Lemieux up with it, back over to Wells. Wells to Elliott. The Crude working around the perimeter here, but not much access into the middle of the floor. As the shot clock's going to expire, and the Outlaws will be happy with that possession. As Kai Ellis not happy with official Sean Reed for getting in the way of the ball, as he thought he might be able to go and take off with it. As the ball gets thrown back up top. Good job by Sean, not overreacting to it. Here's Grace. And he just one-hands that into Horn. The ball gets knocked down by a good stick by Mitchell, and then he's hit in the head. And they don't have that, but now behind the play, we've got Schultz trying to take the helmet off of Booth. And he's going to be going to the box. So the penalties are going to be 2 minutes for roughing to Booth of the Outlaws, and then Schultz on the Crude is going to get 2 for roughing, but then 5 for face masking. He had the original penalty. So Schultz will get a total of 7 minutes, and Booth should get a total of 2 here. Mitchell got clocked in the head here, right in front of the penalty box. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think anybody saw that though. We'll wait and see if there's any additional penalties here. As the officials discuss what the official calls are going to be here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Friday night, no better time to watch some lacrosse. Outlaws and Crude. As Sean is telling them not to put the 2s up on the board, I believe. They just want the 5 up on the board. And that's exactly what's going on here. And we're back underway here now with the Outlaws going to a 5-minute power play, already up 3 goals. Hildebrand's pressed. Now he gets it over to Grace. Hildebrand and Grace up high. Porter moves into the middle. Shot. And it's stopped by Horn. The Outlaws get the loose ball. 11:57 to go here. Second period as Rossman dished that into the middle to a cutting Porter. Shot went wide. Hildebrand, Grace. They're pretty tight up at the top of the box, taking Grace's shooting lane away, and now it looks like Smith tried to dish that to Nicopillo, and they call the Outlaws for over and back. 11:30 to go here, 6-3 Outlaws lead, second period. And the Crude will possess. Elliott has the ball knocked away as he caught the ball, but as he turned, the shaft of his stick got cross-checked and he loses it. And now behind the play, Elliott pushes Sutherland and they'll award possession to the Outlaws. The Outlaws a 3-on-1 here. Grace, Porter shoots it right into the stick of Horn. And now they're gonna say outlaw ball. Porter just floats that into the far side there. It's 7-3. And Like Crude caught way up floor there on the turnover, and nobody was back, and Porter took advantage of it. I want to thank our second period sponsor, United Sport and Cycle. United Sport and Cycle is a specialty sports store located in the heart of Edmonton. We see sports as a way to bring people together, and our driving force has always been to help athletes of all levels reach their full potential. As the ball gets worked across the top. Shot off the bar from Porter. And if you're just new tuning into the league or are unfamiliar with the Outlaws, Cody and Jesse Porter, twins. Not just brothers, but twins as they man the left side of this Outlaw power play. As the ball gets picked back up, and here are the Crude. Dzwanka throws a wild pass into the corner and away from Elliott. And now it's picked up by the Outlaws. Here go the Outlaws back up floor. Also, on a major penalty, for anybody unaware, you can score 2 goals and then you can sub back on, but that player has to serve the entire 5 minutes. So up to 2 goals, and then you can return to even strength, but that player has to remain in the box. Grace, Hildebrand, back up to Grace. He flips it over. Back over to Hildebrand now. Dugan. Grace, shot soaked. Ball is going to be picked up by the Outlaws. And that'll be our second period media timeout, as the 2 minor penalties will be able to release here, but Schultz will have to remain in the box. As they sort out who is released, it should be Huckabee and Booth, and Schultz should stay in the box. As they discuss this, well, okay, Booth is out. Apparently, yeah, I'm not sure why Huckabee's staying in the box here. Yeah, this is a bit confused. I think Huckabee should be out here. The Crude are confused by it too. I wish I could give you a better explanation right now, but I can't. I don't. Some type of technicality where Huckabee can't come out yet. I think it's because of the major. He has to wait until the 5 is done before he can come out. I don't know. I can't tell you. Either way, the Outlaws remain up a man. 5-on-4. Sutherland chases Dickin. Dickin is just going to slow play this, invite some contact, and then take 2 Outlaws on, and now he just flips the ball into the corner as the 30 expires. Ball into the stick of Hildebrand. Grace. Back over to Hildebrand. Here is Carter Grace. Throws a wild pass, but it's caught. Hildebrand shoots that into the stick of Horn. 8:30 to go now, second period. Outlaws continuing to lead 7-3 as they've outscored the Crude 3-0 here in this middle frame. And now a good job by the Outlaws to create a turnover here on the press. But now Hildebrand is pressed back by Dzwanka. Dzwanka knocks the ball loose, but it's picked up by Jesse Porter. as Porter had that shot. Stopped. Well, no, I thought because they gave him a reset it was a shot. It didn't reach the net. That's what I originally thought. Anyways, the shot does come in and it's stopped by Horn. Horn, long outlet. He had or tried to get it to Wells, but he was tightly guarded by a couple of Outlaws. And now they'll come back up floor. Grace. About a minute or about 15 seconds left on the power play. Porter controls it over to Hildebrand. Hildebrand tried to hit Grace on a seam pass with a quick stick, and then that pass is thrown way in front of McConnell. He's going to run it down. McConnell gets stripped there by Porter, and Porter is going to run it. Porter over to Grace as the teams return to even strength. So the Outlaws get one on the major penalty. And they go back to work. Hildebrand, inside Hildebrand, and he threw a couple of fakes. Good stop there by Horn, maybe his best of the game, as Dugan picks up the loose ball. Dugan over to Grace. Ball with Mitchell. Mitchell tried to hit Hildebrand. The ball goes loose and it's picked up by Dzwanka. Dzwanka tries to hit Smith, and he's going to have to chase this. Smith in behind the net. He's hit hard there by Gaudreau, loses his stick, and then he's hit. Loses his stick though. And the Crude will set up 5-on-5. Ball with Fodchuk over to Elliott. Elliott shoots that. Rebound, and Lemieux lost it. Looked like he had it and then lost it. Now the ball 3-on-0 for the Outlaws. You don't see this often. Here's Sutherland. Sutherland in, and he scores. A 3-on-0 results in a goal by an unlikely source here as Cohen Sutherland gets on the board. It's 8-3. And the Outlaws, who, again, after relinquishing some of that momentum they built early on, have come out here in the second period and taken a 4-0 period advantage to this point. I want to thank Zender Ford. We're the car dealer in Spruce Grove. We'll go above and beyond to meet our customer needs, and we'll work with you no matter what situation you're in. We are conveniently located on Highway 16 and have great hours, so we can help you with any vehicle needs you may have. And as I get through that read, the Outlaws have taken a 9-3 lead. So Grace from the two Porters on that marker. The Outlaws have their biggest lead of the game. A big portion of the game right now, the Crude have to answer back, because if this lengthens out anymore, it's going to be very, very difficult to make their way back. Here's Ellis. Hops around with it, and he gets it to Grace. Ellis will stay out, play some offense. Grace loses it. He has his stick knocked out of his hands, and then the Crude kicked his stick away, and that's just, if you're head coach Terry Doken, you can't be happy with that. That's just an undisciplined penalty. So the Crude will return to the man short. Ball over on the left side. Porter gets it to Hildebrand. Hildebrand quickly to Grace. Grace, good shoulder stop there by Horn. He went through the crease, did Grace, and it'll be Crude possession. And it looked like Smith just chucked this down the floor here. And the Outlaws will pick it back up. Hildebrand. Marked there by Nicapillo, and now the Outlaws power play will set back up. Grace plays catch there with Porter. Grace. Outside shot stopped by Horn, and then the ball was sent up floor. And now Booth will grab the loose ball. 4:20 to go, second period. Outlaws still up 9-3 as the power play goes underneath a minute. Hildebrand fires it wide, and then the loose ball was mishandled by Porter. He steps back out with it. Hildebrand down low to Dugan. Dugan tries to hit a cutter, and now Porter with that shot stopped by Horn. Here go the Crude. Up floor. Again, these long passes to heavily marked players aren't working out shorthanded here. And Richardson gets this to Hildebrand with 15 now on the power play. Grace, Hildebrand. Ball over on the left side with Porter. Porter steps around a little seal, scores, and now there's excessive pushing and shoving here as Porter got knocked down after he scored. And then his brother came to his defense, had to deal with Tyson Smith, a bit of a size mismatch there. Refs do a good job of getting in the way. It's 10-3. I want to thank Wedman Land and Cattle Co. with 4 generations of expertise. We're more than just a ranch, we're a tradition of excellence. From our quality cattle and performance horses to our reliable trucking services, we're here to serve your needs across Alberta. And now Drader down here. It'll be Crude possession. Here's Stenson. Stenson marked there by Ellis. Now shot. Elliott, that's wide. And here goes Sutherland again, who's already got a goal. He goes after the loose ball, and he's got Ellis up ahead if he can get it. He eventually picks it up, and now he sails it over the head of Booth. But the ball's going to bounce over near Ellis. He goes in between 2 Crude players and grabs it. Good loose ball there by Ellis. He goes to the far boards where he's kind of hit on the back, and now he survives it, and he gets the ball to Hildebrand. Well, that's not Hildebrand, excuse me. Now the ball up with Dugan. Now with Mitchell. Mitchell shot. Bit of a twister, stopped by Horn. Ellis picks it back up. Ball goes loose again. And the Crude playing hot potato with it, pick it up. Huckabee in transition, tries to go 5-hole, stopped by Couturier. Grace hits Dugan. Dugan, and tried to go low, stopped by Horn. Some heavy whacks here, fray on Grace. And the Outlaws get their reset. Grace. Hildebrand. That shot goes high and wide on the short side. Now loose ball, Porter. Stopped. And Dzwanka. Long lead fat pass. This time Elliott's there. Elliott tries a bit of a dip and dunk move, and Couturier gets his shoulder on it, and they call Elliott in the crease regardless. Gaudreau goes up to Hildebrand, who runs the loose ball down. Hildebrand tries to roll underneath. He's shut off, and now tried to hit Porter, cutting in front of the net. Ball bounces off the top of his head and goes in behind the net. And the Crude will pick it back up. Ball's thrown into the corner and goes in behind the net. And the Outlaws recollect. Grace near his bench. He's going to wait for some help here. Grace. Around a check. Grace steps back and shoots that. Stopped by Horn. The Crude look to go back up floor. And there's something going on behind the play. It looks like they'll nab both Grace and Ferretti. And maybe roughing each. Let's wait and see for the call. Looks like official Nathaniel Gillespie says holding on each side. So we'll play 4-on-4 here with 46 seconds to go in this middle frame. Outlaws up big, 10-3. Dickin. Graham Dickin, drag move, Dickin scores, but they say he crossed the plane of the crease as he jumped up. And it'll remain 10-3. Now to the net on a breakaway, and that's a stop. They also called him for being in the crease, and now behind the play, the Crude are going to take another penalty. Didn't see it take place, but they're calling interference on Dzwanka. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout here. The Outlaws probably going to draw something up or try to draw something up here with 30 seconds remaining in the period. Take this time to thank Dylan Doken Contracting Limited, Crude Gold, or DDC is a general contracting company. Our attention to detail and giving the customer what they ask for is our company's main objective. Call Dylan Doken Contracting Limited for your general contracting needs. And Impact Homes. Impact Homes is a Coventry Group company and is a flexible home builder serving Edmontonians and surrounding areas. With over 60 years of combined experience, Impact Home is a leading Alberta builder. And Frank's Sandblasting and Painting, our Alberta-based company, is family-owned and operated, providing our customers with the benefit of personalized service. Every detail that goes into our customer's order reflects our strong commitment to providing them with the same service and quality. So now the Outlaws will play for last possession here and have a 4-on-3 after the coincidentals for holding. Rossman across the top to Porter. The Outlaws going to be in no rush here as they don't want to give the Crude the ball here with the last possession on tap here. Porter. Well, he does shoot it a bit early, and Horn is going to grab the loose ball, and it was almost run down by Drader, and the clock is going to run out here, and that'll do it for the second period of play. After 2, it's the Beaumont Outlaws 10, the St. Albert Crude 3. I want to thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Just hit subscribe. You'll be notified each and every time a game goes live. After 2 periods of play, it's the Beaumont Outlaws 10, the St. Albert Crude 3. We'll check back with you in just under 10 minutes' time.
shake some hands here as well.
Yep.
I got a sec.
And welcome back inside Jerome McGinley Arena in St. Albert, where it is the Beaumont Outlaws with a 10-3 lead over the hometown St. Albert Crude. And the Outlaws will also start the power play, or the period on the power play, as they look to extend their lead. Ball gets knocked near the Crude bench off the draw, and it's picked up by Ellis. Ellis to Porter. He jogs into the zone, and he hands it to his brother. Outlaws 4-on-3 right now. Hildebrandt down to Rossman. Rossman back up to Hildebrandt. Now Rossman tried to step out in front, got his stick knocked. The ball goes loose, and it's going to be picked up by Porter, who settles it down here. Outlaws still on the power play. Porter, Hildebrandt. Rossman down low. Had a shot if he wanted it. He gets it back from Hildebrandt. Porter, Hildebrandt, Rossman. Cross crease pass to Porter. Back to Rossman. Rossman shoots that in on Horn, and that gets stopped, and then the loose ball goes out to Hildebrandt. Hildebrandt to Rossman. Porter. To Hildebrandt, and that quick stick was stopped by Horn. Nicapillo up floor to Ferretti. Ferretti controls. He's checked there by Grace. He gets away. Now he's chased into the corner by Porter. He rolls it up high to Nicapillo. Nicapillo is met there by a check. Nicapillo has to do work to save himself from back over, and it's picked up by the Outlaws. Beese to Mitchell off the bench, and he gets it to Porter. Here's Brooks, two-man game with Porter. Brooks back up high to Hildebrandt. Hildebrandt to Mitchell. Mitchell with the green kicks, throws that in on Horn, and the ball gets turned away into the corner. Now there's a fight for it, and McConnell will come away with it. Dizwanka up to Dickin. Dickin is going to wind and fire off of the feet of Couturier. And here go the Outlaws. Back the other way, Booth. That's mishandled, and the ball is going to go loose here. Looked like Hudson Cook, who wasn't able to bring that in, and now Frey gets it to Dickin. Dickin rolls a couple of times. Now a delayed call coming up to the Outlaws. The Crude power play looking to hit the floor here. Dickin engages his man and shoots it. That goes well wide, and the Crude power play will convene. I want to thank Central Social Hall. Central Social Hall can be a place for drinks with the girls, lunch with a client, brunch with your family, or late night with your friends. Born and raised in Edmonton, we're committed to providing you with an outstanding restaurant and bar experience. Also want to mention that is your third period sponsor, Central Social Hall. Here's Liam Elliott. Ball in behind the net now. As the Crude move it around. Wells up high. Fodchuk. Backdoor look, and great stop there by Couturier, who got over on Elliott. Elliott up top. Wells bounces that in on Couturier, and it's stopped, and Beese is going to run. Beese over center. Gets hit there by Elliott, but he flips it to Ellis. Gets it back. Beese pulls away and throws it high, and luckily for him, Ellis is pretty damn tall, able to grab it. Ellis gonna go for a run behind the net. Ball goes loose as he tangles up there with Huckabee. They go down to the floor. They're gonna chirp each other a little bit as Ellis and Smith now tangle up. Nothing comes of it though, and Elliott will direct traffic up top of the power play. Fodchuk. No looker to Dickin. Elliott behind the back. Dickin. That's stopped by Couturier. Graham Dickin up high, back to Elliott. Fodchuk throws that high. Dickin. Elliott. Fodchuk. That's knocked down. And now here go the Outlaws. Keller is going to go for a run, and he's got a lane to the net. He stops up, though. Now he goes again. Keller. He's stopped by Horn up high. And once again, everyone tuned in, thank you so much for watching lacrosse on this Friday night. We got a North Division rivalry. Hit the thumbs up. Get these videos pumped up with likes so we can get the algorithm up and get as many people in on these games as possible. Fodchuk to Bowie, and that gets stopped by Couturier. So the ball gets bobbled inside the crease, but it's picked up by Sutherland. Sutherland, who's got a marker in this one, gets it to Porter. And he hands off to Grace. Schultz is going to chase him around. Porter inside, and Grace had that go in behind him. And now here go the Crude, but the ball's dropped by Nicapillo. He's going to go back over, and it's going to be outlaw ball. Grace inside, and he tried to lob that over Horn to no avail. But he gets a reset. Outlaws, Dugan brings it, and he gets it up to Hildebrand. Hildebrand, Grace off the half wall. Grace put that right into the crest of Horn. And now Schultz to Nicapillo. He gets the ball to Elliott. And Elliott heavily pressed there. He's held there, and that'll be a call. Here's Bowie. Bowie to Wells. Wells into Bowie. He's not able to bring it in. But the loose ball's picked up and thrown on net. That'll be easily stopped by Couturier, and it'll be a power play for the Crude. Thank the third period sponsor Central Social Hall. Once again, as the Crude return to the power play. 13:22 to go here. The Crude have to go on a big-time run now. There's no tomorrow at this point. Dickin up to Elliott. Elliott moves it. Gets it back. Elliott fires into a couple of bodies. It somehow got to Couturier and stopped. Now Elliott and Ellis are going to push and shove. And they separate, and here's Keller. Putting his defenders in a blender. Bit of a hold there. No call. Ellis. Back to Keller. Keller gets it to Porter. Porter underneath, and he bounces it into the stick of Horn. Here's McConnell. Parker and McConnell out of Parkland. He's going to hand off to Liam Elliott, also out of Parkland. Elliott over to Fodchuk. Wells as they wheel over on the right side. Bowie. Elliott comes back up top. Elliott behind the back to Wells. Wells fires and 5 holes. Couturier. It's 5-4 on that power play or 10-4 on that power play marker. Must have been some kind of space between the stick of Couturier and the inside of his foot, because it didn't look like there was anything there. But the ball found a way home to make it 10-4. Here go the Outlaws, although they don't pick it up, and the Schultz is going to come back north with it. Schultz goes deep into the zone. 2 Outlaws on him. Ellis. Going to use his stick to keep Schultz away from the net. And the loose ball goes back out to Dickin. That shot goes off the leg of Couturier, short side, and here go the Outlaws. Porter's got a mini break here, a 2-on-1 with Beast. 3-on-2 now. The trailer comes wide open. Hildebrand, and that got stopped by Horn. Grace. As the Outlaws coaching staff yells out full 30 as they implore their team to waste some time here and drain the 30 with a 6-goal lead and 11 and a half to go. That shot by Grace goes up and out, and it'll be a 30-second reset. And a nice quick stick there from Brooks, who kind of had to jump up for that, put it off of Horn and into the net, and it's 11-4. Now off the draw, it's Reich. Reich deep. And he gets it up high to Stenson. Elliott jogs into the zone. Elliott hop step, tries to go over top of his defender. He's pushed out. Now Lemieux down into the far corner for Fodchuk. Fodchuk up across the top, looking to shoot, nothing there. He can't take a shot, and he's good topside defense there by the Outlaws, and now the Crude are gonna return to the penalty box. Seen a few of these offensive zone penalties for the Crude. Just can't have them. Can't have them. If you want to win, these are things you just can't do. And the Outlaw power play is going to return to the floor. So with 10:40 to go, Outlaws 11, Crude 4. And Grace will start it back up. Here's Grace. Porter, back to Porter. Grace, now down and back up to Porter, and now Hildebrand shoots that. And the loose ball is going to be picked up by Drader, and Drader can really run. Drader's going to be chased down low by Porter. Drader to the net, and that goes wide. And Gaudreau is going to pick it up and get it up to Grace. And good job by Porter hustling back and rushing that shot by Drader, forcing him to miss the net. Grace is going to drain some clock here and wait for some Outlaws to hit the floor. Underneath 10 minutes to go, Outlaws 11, Crude 4. Grace down low to Dugan. That shot gets knocked down, and Dugan back up to Mitchell. Mitchell to Grace. Grace, sub shot, misses the net. And now Nicopillo is going to run, and they're going to blow this dead for a media timeout. So 9:40 to go, and the score 11-4. We'll pause here, and we'll thank the 2025 Crude Tier 1 Lacrosse Club sponsors: Dylan Doken Contracting Limited, Central Social Hall, Wedman Land and Cattle Co., Zender Ford, Impact Homes, Alberta Sportswear, Frank Sandblasting and Painting, United Sports Cycle, Iron Worker Local 720, and Key to Safety. And we start back up here with Wells controlling it and floating it over to Fodchuk cross floor. Fodchuk hop step, gets the pick set, and now he's in the far corner. Underneath his man Fodchuk, and he creased over there. Nice play from Josh, but good stop from Couturier, and then a Crude player was dragged down. It'll be a trip. Sort of a tackle almost, as Wells comes up back up high with it. Dickin. And you probably start to see after this power play, especially, the Crude start to go 6-on-5 and pull their goalie down by 7 with, by then, 7 minutes to go or so. Gaudreau will go to the box. No argument from him. And they'll play some 4-on-4 for 26 seconds. Here's Elliott with Wells on the right side. Now backdoor, it's Lemieux, and he gets called for the crease. That one looked a little rough. There's been a few of those this game. The first two were good calls, no question about it. That one, I'm not so sure, but official Sean Reed right there, so I'm not going to question it. Very good official and does a good job. So if you're the Crude, you got to live with that. As here is Brooks. Brooks up high to Dugan. Over to Mitchell. Mitchell, shot wide. And the ball just be rolled in the corner with the 30-second shot clock expiring. Here's Nicapillo handing it to Dickin. Dickin obviously acquired from the Warriors earlier in the season. Elliott back over to Fodchuk. Fodchuk hangs on to it. Now Fodchuk skips it into the stick of Dickin. Dickin winds, fires, and that's stopped by Couturier. And Schultz now 3-on-2. Schultz, Wells, back to Schultz. Schultz stopped by Couturier. And now the ball's gonna go loose. Richardson just bats it right back into the Crude possession. 7:45 to go, still 11-4. Crude power play now for about the next 30 seconds. Elliott, no look pass. Fodchuk mishandled it. Fodchuk picks it back up. Fodchuk, no looker. Down to Dickin, he missed it. And he's gonna go pick the ball back up. Graham Dickin winds into the chest of Easton Couturier. And here goes the Outlaws back down. Ellis will defer to Grace. Carter Grace. Up high to Porter. As Gaudreau comes out of the penalty box, we go back to even with less than 7 minutes to go. Outlaws 11, Crude 4. Grace to the net and somehow scores, but they say he stepped inside the cylinder and it'll be 11-4. Or it'll be Crude ball, still at 11-4. Frey. Picked up by Couturier, and he's going to outlet right to the Outlaws bench. Mitchell, swim move. Nice one. What's been a nice night for Carter Mitchell. Ball up high with Brooks. Brooks into the stick of Dugan, who gets pushed back. Good defense there on the top side by Drader. And now the ball gets sent in, and Drader, heavy hack there. No call, though. Elliott will grab it. Fodchuk. Elliott mishandles it, and here goes Keller. Keller off to the races. Noah Keller in. Stopped by Horn, and they say he stepped in the crease as well. Here's Nicapillo. Crude taking their time here. 11-4 with 5.5 to go. Elliott, or Dickin, sort of span off a check, and then Dickin hits Booth in the head. And the ball's gonna go loose. They'll fight for it. Beast is gonna come up with it. 2 Crude players on him, and now Dickin will make his way to the box. Obvious frustration from Graham Dickin there. They only say it 2. So the Outlaws will go to the power play for the next 2 minutes or less. Grace, Hildebrand, Rossman, Hildebrand back up to Grace. Porter, Grace shoots that, stopped by Horn. Porter with the loose ball, up to Grace. Rossman gets sent to the floor here. Shot, stopped. And the ball is up into the Crude's possession, but it's knocked down by Grace. And the Outlaws will eventually pick it up here, and they do. The ball gets sent up to Porter. 4.5 to go now. The Outlaws continue on the power play. Porter up to Grace, back to Porter. Grace fakes a shot. BTB to Porter, back up to Grace. Grace shoots that and scores. Hit body on Horn and still got past him. It's 12-4. So the Outlaws extend their lead to 8 here with just over 4 minutes to play. Can't thank everybody enough. CROW LAX TV, hit subscribe. You've been notified every time a game goes live. We really appreciate you being here with us tonight. Hit that thumbs up on the video as well so more people can see this content, see these games, and appreciate this league. As behind the play, Reich and Porter push a little bit, but they separate, and now Frey will wait for Crude players to hit the floor. Here's Liam Elliott. Ball into the stick of Fodchuk. Elliott bounces that into the paraphernalia of Couturier. Couturier looking up floor. He dishes it up. Here's Mitchell by the Crude bench. He was surrounded by a couple of players, and now Rossman picks up the loose ball. Felix Rossman to the net. Stopped by Horn. Ball's knocked down at center by McConnell, who's going to push this now. He's going to pull it out. Instead, eventually, and he gets it to Dickin. Here's Graham Dickin. Stenson. Fodchuk. Fodchuk dishing. Here's Graham Dickin. Now behind the play, a delayed call. Looks like another cross check. And Stenson will make his way to the box. So as we play out the string here, I want to thank all of the Crude sponsors this season one more time. Dylan Doken, Contracting Limited, Central Social Hall, Wedman Land and Cattle Co., Zender Ford, Impact Homes, Alberta Sportswear, Frank Sandblasting and Painting, United Sport and Cycle, Ironworker Local 720, and Key to Safety. Ball down low on the crease. It's sent across the crease to Dugan. Now we got another call. Coming up to the Crew to be a rough, I believe. Yes, that will be the call. So Dzwanka makes his way in. And the Outlaws will play 5-on-3 here. And honestly, if I was the Outlaws here, I'd think about just holding the ball at center and letting the 30 go. 12-4 with 2.5 minutes left. I'd wait till next practice to work on my 4-on-3. But they're going to shoot and try to score, but that gets stopped by Horn. The ball is brought across center. I thought a late reset here. The officials were screaming. Frey gets pushed over center. It'll be back over. Oh, they don't call back over, but it'll be outlaw possession nonetheless. And the Outlaws come back down 4-on-3. Hildebrand. Man, Grace had a wide open net, but the ball was high. Down low, Hildebrand out front, and good stop there by Horn. On the far side with his foot, now Grace. Grace tried a little bit of a no-looker push shot, misses the net. And now Hildebrand out in front, stopped again by Horn, and then the ball rolls over top of him and in the net. Odd one there. Usually that ball just deadens and falls in front of the goalie, but it rolls over his shoulder. And that kind of looked like one where Horn didn't really care whether or not that went in or not, but definitely a weird one. So with 1:12 to go, the Outlaws now up 13-4. And the Crude are going to have to look to tomorrow on a date with the Mavericks here at Jerome McGinley as they try to get out of this little mini losing streak they're in now. Ball over with Grace. Grace down. And now here, I definitely would not be shooting if I was the Outlaws. And I just heard somebody on the bench say, hold it. Well, they shoot it anyway. And the ball gets sent down the floor. Schultz tried to one-hand it. Gets picked up by the Outlaws. And we dip underneath, 30 seconds to go now. Grace will just hold this. That is going to do it here from Jerome McGinley Arena. The Outlaws improved to 3-2, while the Crude dropped to 3-4. The final score from St. Albert, the Beaumont Outlaws 13, the St. Albert Crude 4. The Outlaws come in and get the road win, and the Crude will look to respond tomorrow evening when they take on the Mountain View Mavericks, 6 o'clock here from Jerome McGinley. Once again, final score, the Beaumont Outlaws 13, the St. Albert Crude 4. Thanks so much for joining us here on the channel, and we'll see you here tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Thanks so much, everyone.